Hi, and welcome to part 12. In this part, we're going to connect our channels to buses, just like we did with the kick and bass earlier. This will make things easier for us down the line when we start working on automation and more mixing. So let's start renaming the channels that we haven't renamed before and set the right color. So this will be in the main saw. Let's call this drop voice, and let's color this pink like the above, because I want them in the same bus. Now let's create folder channels first. We want one for the leads, the blue ones. Select both and drag in. All right, and now for the pads. And these pink ones, let's call them details, because it's not only synths, it's more. So now we have put all of our channels into folder channels. We will create a bus for each folder with the same name and color. Let's start with the drums. For the drums, I like to divide them up to two parts, claps and hi-hats. So let's select all hi-hats. And then right-click this, add a bus for selected channels. What this will do is we'll add a new bus and connect all of the selected channels to that bus. And let's call this hi-hats with capital letters. And now you can see hi-hats. And let's do the same for the claps. Not sure I got the color right. All right, and now for our bass lines. Since we already connected our sub to the kick and sub, let's connect these and call them mid bass. And now for the FX, except for the boom kick, because it won't need any automation and further mixing. I want to be able to low pass the rest of the FX, and including the boom kick won't make that possible. We also did not include the loops in the hi-hats buzz, because I want them to be more individual. And the leads. I want to call the pink channel for details, because that's the most suitable name I can think of in this case. Maybe you have a better idea. So now we have placed our individual channels into folders and connected them to its own bus. Now things are more organized. There's a very nice feature in Studio One which is called Console Shaper. It's a saturation effect created to simulate the old days when you work with big mixers, or still today if you work with hardware mixers. Even just having a signal running through the mixer channel with no setting applied, The mechanical part would create a slight saturation effect that's still desirable in some cases today. In Studio One, this is built in and can only be used on buses and the master channel. So let's start with the kick and sub. Go up to Mix Effects and select Console Shaper. Let's set the drive to around 3 and let's have a listen. For the kick and sub, we can hear a subtle but nice change. The low end sounds a bit rounder and deeper. This is something I think sounds good. When you add it to synths and similar sounding instruments, you will achieve a bit more warmth and rounder type of sound. Let's also add to mid bass, let's add to leads, and create a bit more warmth. Let's also add one for the details. Let's have a listen to the leads with the console shaper on and off. We can hear that it gets warmer, a bit more tight, and also a bit more compressed and fuller. I really like that, so definitely will keep it that way. In the beginning of the project, I also added a console shaper to the master channel, so all this time we've been working with some saturation on. I've also added a limiter just to protect our ears and speakers to any loud and sudden signal. Adding console shaper to every channel is not preferred according to me, as it can get too much and add a bit of muddiness to the mix. So that's it for now, hang on tight, and in the next part we will work on the breakdown. See you there.